Hello. I hope everybody is well. Good evening. You're all discussing how the vote went. I know. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that it meant death, but I felt like it spiced up the vote a little bit. Oh, just dribbled down my own face. Sexy, isn't it? Hi everyone in the chat. Sarah, Herbal, Durkus. Sorry to see in the comments, Durkus, that you have had a rough week. That sucks. I'm sorry. It is just uncertainty, and jobs are stressful, aren't they? It is proper messy. Well, welcome to Escapism. This is Escapism 101. I've also done a new thread on Twitter. If you're very bored after this, I'm having a lot of fun with conspiracy theories. Hope you're all well. Catherine says, did I enjoy Great British Bake Off? I couldn't watch it live because Tom and I always watch Bake Off together, and he is playing a Dungeons and Dragons like the nerd that he is. So I have had to sacrifice watching it live, which I think we can all agree is quite a big sacrifice to make. So I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a few spoilers on Twitter, so I'm sad. But oh my god, I can't wait. I'm very exciting. I'm very exciting. I am excited. The whole bit about Mary Berry in a drawer on Banana Hooch. So funny. Thanks, Mystic. I've actually done another thread. There's more. Hurrah. But thank you. I did enjoy your response to that. There's some cupcakes coming in from Mystic. What's Neil opening to test? What have you got? Chocolate orange? Who's talking about chocolate orange? Chocolate orange buttons. Oh, I saw chocolate orange twirls in a petrol station the other day, and I nearly bought them, but I'm trying to get rid of this at the moment. I've been working out every day. Whew, I'm very strong now. Chris is worried that Ezria might die. Yeah, all right. So you're discussing who might die. Strong Twitter date. Yeah, thanks. Can you tell? Mackie and I just watched a documentary, and then there were some hummingbirds on it, and I was like, it said something like a hummingbird can lick 20 times a second. No, no. Like I kind of just about get how micro stuff can do that, but it's a fucking bird. I don't believe in them. So that's how I feel about hummingbirds. Yeah, lick. Yeah, like in the, like they're getting the what's it called? Nectar out of the little pipey flowers, and they're 20 times a second. No, I don't believe. No, Shane. I didn't say I don't believe in birds. I said I don't believe in hummingbirds. They're not natural. I've been on my own for a while. Mackie and I went to the park this evening as well. Made crumpets because we're swimming in milk, and then we went to the park. And she's really good at fetch at home, but then when we go to the park, she can't do it anymore, and I can't quite work out why not. Like at home, she brings the ball back, and she knows she doesn't get a treat unless she brings the ball back. But in the park, she's sort of like, she runs to where the ball is and tags it, and then just runs back without it. And she doesn't understand at all that she's supposed to bring the ball to me. Lady Frog, do they do that while humming too? I don't think so. I think the humming's the wings, isn't it? But then they wing at a crazy speed as well. I just think they're mad. It's not right. It's not right. And that's how they've evolved. So that was the easiest way to survive. No, anyway, I don't believe them. Hummingbirds are really clever. They generate lift on both flaps. Flaps is such a funny word. It doesn't matter how many intelligent things I read and how many very clever things make me laugh. The word flaps will always make me laugh. They generate lift on both flap strokes by changing the shape of their wings. See, that doesn't sound right, does it? That's not right. That's like me being able to run and just like mulch my thighs into different shapes as I went, like so fast and so still at the same time. Yeah, it's not right. It's not natural. So right, your chapter. Now, also tomorrow, we need to talk about tomorrow. It's called Kevin. I am going to try and get the chapter written and recorded before I have to leave for Bristol, but I do have to gig in Bristol. So there might be some problems with getting it recorded. If I can't do it, I will get the pre-record ready for Thursday. Absolutely. I think I should be able to get up tomorrow and get it done before my stuff starts. But if I can't, it will be Thursday. And I apologize for that. I'll make it extra long to apologize. And then Friday, we plan for midnight. That should be fine. I've just put a gig in Tunbridge Wells. Very nice. But I should be back by midnight in time to do the chapter, so that is all fine. Good. So if the live stream isn't like set up, like I guess you guys can see it when I set up the premiere, it says that it's going to premiere at 10. If I haven't done that by like 2:00 tomorrow afternoon, I'm not going to get it done tomorrow, sadly, because I've got to record a podcast and then I have my personal training session, and then I've got to go to Bristol, so I will see how it goes. But if not, it'll be Thursday and it'll be fantastic. I've given you an easier time on the vote today. Where am I? Oh, I've been working on my treatment for my new TV scripted idea, which is exciting, although I hate doing treatments. I wish I could just write it. I hate trying to create, so you have to create like a 2-page blurb of what it's all going to be like, and I hate it because it's like, why do we care about these characters? And you're like, well, let me write it and then read it and you'll see. You'll either care about them or you won't. But I do hate doing the like describey bits. Right, so chapter 19. So yes, that they need to get back in there, and Ezria and Marine start running. So chapter 19. Ezria and Marine were breathing hard by the time they reached the end of the tunnel and pulled up just before the entrance to the cavern. The sounds of fighting had got louder and louder the closer they'd got, but Marine was calmed to notice there were no snarls or soft popping noises. This meant it was unlikely to be their two biggest threats, a predator or Van Weir. Marine gripped the stone and let herself sink into invisibility. She was beginning to notice more and more about the sensation the more she did it. It felt looser. She was far more aware of needing to concentrate on balancing and thinking about how each of her limbs moved now that she couldn't see them. It was the most curious sensation, like the world was wobblier somehow, and all the movement she'd barely given a second thought to since she learned to walk was suddenly the hardest thing in the world. I've been thinking about this, footnotes here. Asterisk, into the bottom of the page. Hello, it's me. I was thinking about being invisible, and I reckon I've got a theory that maybe being invisible might feel a bit like seasickness, because you can't see your feet hitting the floor, so maybe it would make you feel all wobbly, and maybe your balance would be all like, ugh. So I decided to write it like that. But then I wanted to say like, oh, it feels like seasickness, but then I was like, well, Marine would never have been to sea, despite the name. Irony, where's Alanis? I know. So I tried to describe seasickness as best I could from the brain of somebody who didn't know what the sea was. End of footnote. Ezria turned to her and began to speak in a rusty whisper. Marine, yes, Catherine, who says so, like labyrinthitis. I mean, I've never had labyrinthitis. I'm so sorry that you've got it 9 months in. Ooh, but my friends have it, and well, one of my friends anyway, and it sounds grim. So I'm really sorry that you have that. That is horrible. I will try and sit very still to not set it off. Can I repeat the footnote? Not even if I tried. Ezria turned to her and began to speak in a rusty whisper. Marine saw her eyes widen and the words peter out as Ezria glanced about to see where Marine had gone. I'm here, Marine reassured her. This is going to take some getting used to, Ezria grinned. In this case, can you head in and see what's going on? Marine nodded, and then realized Ezria couldn't see her nod and whispered yes. She slipped past Ezria and crept along the edges of the cavern, watching the fight. Rashek and Mortglade appeared to be trussed up on the floor, lying on their stomachs with their arms and legs pinned behind them with roots. Kuran, Aleph and Asmar were deep into a fight with what looked to be about 10 or more strangers in thick brown uniforms. They had woven roots that they were using to club, and some of them had long, stringier weaves that they were whipping at and lassoing with. As Marine watched, she saw Asmar lose her battle and be forced to the ground under 3 of these strange Tingians. Her hands and feet were swiftly trussed, and she was moved to one side with Mortglade and Rashek. The 3 that had secured her then swiftly made their way back to the fight. The odds did not look good for Kuran and Aleph. Marine scampered forward and pulled her knife out of her belt to free the captives while the fight was turned away from her. She was roughly 5 paces away from Mortglade when a shout went up from one of the strangers. Right, we need an accent, gang. Let's give all the strangers the same accent and I'll just do different voices. Oh no, Dirkus is Elef the new Theo. We need Lork didn't make the team. A James T. Kirk style. I don't know what that is. Thugs, German, Mexican, Essex. Thugs, South London. Attackers, Murricans, Scottish. Well, Mortglade's Scottish, Maria. I'm afraid I can't differentiate. Cockney. You want Cockney. We've got South London. All right, let's go like this then. They're going to be proper Essexy Londoners. All right. There's another one. Ingo, Mulling, on me. 2 Tingians broke away from Karan and Elef and followed the shouter straight to Marine. Marine looked down at her hands in surprise, but they weren't visible. She tried to dash away back into the dark, but they were on her before she was halfway back. The surprise at being seen broke her concentration on remaining invisible, and she felt herself flushing back into full view. They bound her wrists tightly behind her and then secured her feet. Stay on this one, said the Tingian who had first noticed her. She's of the old. The 2 Tingians held on to Marine's feet and arms so tightly that she soon gave up wriggling and lay still, watching as they secured Elef and Karan and lay all 5 of them out on the ground next to each other. The Tingian who had first spotted Marine seemed to be the leader. They were tall, with skin far darker than Marine had ever seen on a Tingian. Marine gazed in astonishment. Now that she noticed, all these Tingians were a darker shade. She had assumed at first that it was camouflage. It was to camouflage themselves with their uniform, but now that she looked, it was simply their skin. Who are you? Asked the leader, and the group lay quietly on the ground. No one spoke. Marine glanced at Asmar and then immediately wished she hadn't as the leader of the strangers pounced on the look and pulled Asmar into the air. Marine marvelled. The Tingian was so tall that they could lift Asmar fully off the ground and hold her up. I'll ask again. Who are you? Asmar swallowed and struggled, the pressure from the ropes and the Tingian's grip clearly uncomfortable. We are outlaws, Asmar said eventually. We are on the run from Van Veer. Marine actually gasped and then felt herself flush with embarrassment. The Tingian holding Asmar up grunted. Van Weer? They asked. That's the commander-in-chief of you Unders at the moment. Unders? Wondered Marine. She had heard Pappy Gloat use that term to refer to Tingians who lived in the city before, but she'd never given it much thought. It was an old word, from back before the city even existed, back when most Tingians lived above ground. There were a few tribes here and there who chose to live beneath the surface. They were the Unders. Those who lived in the sky world were the Topsiders. Since everyone had migrated beneath, though, the word had ceased to be used for obvious reasons. Marine gazed at the strangers. Did they live topside? Her curiosity and lips were too closely woven, because suddenly the question was aloud in the air, and the leader of the band of strangers turned to look at her. We do, they said with a smile, and Marine found her face mirroring the smile back. She couldn't stop looking at the band of Tingians, so tall and alive. The energy fizzed off their bronzed skins, and Marine felt a pull to them like nothing she'd ever experienced. So, you managed to avoid death. Well done, you missed the trap. So, I'll tell you what would have happened. If you'd voted for an animal, Marine was going to lose the stone in the fight and Elef was going to die. Uh-oh. If you'd chosen Van Weer's troops, Asmar was going to switch sides during the battle and kill Mortglade. What? Uh-oh. But you chose strangers. So it was a gang of wild outcasts. And you don't know what that means, but I now do. So, well done to everybody that avoided the deaths of Elef and Mortglade. Nearly happened. I would have brought another Tingian back in from the group. So, but yeah, Dirkus, you voted for death. Yeah, Strangers was no deaths, no deaths. But we have some new characters. We've got the leader, unnamed as yet, and we've got Ingo and Mulling. And we shall see what happens. I already know part of what's going to happen, but the next part of the story depends on you stinkers. So your question, I've gone for a yes or no. I feel like you've had some hard decisions to make lately. So your simple yes or no is, does Ezria make herself known to the strangers now? Yes or no? Does Ezria make herself known to the strangers now? Up to you. And I will get writing. If I can write tomorrow morning, I will do that. So if you can, vote tonight just to make sure it gets counted, or as soon as you can if you're watching this catching up. So throw your thoughts in, and if I can get it recorded before tomorrow night, I will set it up to premiere at 10 o'clock tomorrow while I am in the car on my way home from Bristol. And if not, it'll be set up live for Thursday night. And I'll see you again live if you want to come midnight British summertime on Friday. So have a lovely week, and I'll ramble at you some other time. Bye.